Hello, 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 and welcome to this week's episode of Tracy's Tuesday Talks. I am your hostess of Golden Rose Financial Coaching, Tracy Latona, where I guide people who are growth minded, that are stressed or anxious about their finances, to conquering their money goals. This week's episode comes to you from several conversations that I've been working through with my clients, with prospects, in consultations, and that is the guilt or shame around gifts. So Christmas is 70 days away as of this recording, which is actually on Monday. And in 70 days, Christmas will be here. Now, some of you might be like, Buddy the Elephant, no, some of you guys might be bah humbug. I don't care for Christmas. The commercialism of it makes me sick. And for some of you, it's a joyous occasion. For some of you, it's a really difficult season. But the conversation that I really want to talk about today is centering around gifts and giving. So, when it comes to the holidays, when it comes to Thanksgiving and Christmas, especially, gifts are such a part of our culture, not only here in the United States, but around the world as well. And that looks different in a lot of different countries. Like in Sweden, instead of stockings, they leave small gifts and wooden shoes next to the fireplace. I thought that was a really cool, interesting tidbit. And a lot of people feel guilt or shame when it comes to giving gifts or even receiving gifts. But today I want to talk about the guilt and shame around giving gifts. So I want to start off by clarifying again the difference between guilt and the difference between shame. So guilt is I did something bad that is causing me to feel this way. And shame is I am a bad person because I XYZ for whatever reason. So in this case, guilt would look like I feel really bad because I can't afford or feel like I can't afford to give my kids gifts or buy gifts for my whole family. Whereas shame is I'm a bad person because I'm not giving gifts. So I want to work through that guilt and shame there with you and just bring that to your attention and really bring that to the forefront of your thought as you go into this holiday season. Because if you go into the holiday season with guilt and shame, especially around something that's such a big part of our culture, that really robs it of the joy and really can take away the expectation of having an enjoyable season with your friends and family if that's something that you're planning on doing. So, the mindset around gifts going into what does that look like for you? Are gifts an expectation with your friends and family? Are you expected to buy gifts for all of the family members and their kids and your cousins and your second cousins as a means of connection because that's something that's been a tradition that you and your family have done for so long? You've got friendsgiving instead of, just your family. Now there's an expectation in some friend circles of, hey, let's get together and buy each other gifts and have a friendsgiving, and instead of Thanksgiving with family, we'll do friendsgiving instead. And there's just this, it's kind of like forced on you kind of thing of where it's like, wait. I'm going to this Christmas party. I have to buy a gift. I have to bring something. I have to bring food or a drink or a gift for this person or gifts for all these people. And it's just kind of like this thing that's just thrust on you without you even asking, is it okay if I don't bring anything? Because sometimes it's okay to not bring stuff, but that's not communicated. The second thing about gifts is it can be a love language thing. So a lot of people love to give gifts because it is their love language. If you have read or heard of the five love languages, the five love languages are giving or receiving gifts, um, physical touch, quality time, words of affirmation, and acts of service. So, for a lot of people, giving gifts is a love language, and they might feel guilt or shame because they're not living their love language. They're not living in their core value of what makes them show love. So that can create some guilt or shame around gifts. And then the third thing that can create guilt or shame around gifts is something that would take a lot of deep interpersonal work, maybe some therapy to get to this conclusion, but it is so powerful once you understand where it's coming from. And that is using gifts as a way of pleasing or appeasing somebody. So if you go to the family Christmas party and you haven't talked to your uncle, whoever, the whole year because he's just not a cool guy to talk to, but you feel like you have to buy him a gift because you feel like you're a jerk for not talking to him because he just talks about politics and he just won't shut up about what's on the news and he's just a drain. So you buy him a gift to try to make that connection because you feel guilt or shame about the relationship. Pleasing or appeasing and gift giving can be really tied in together. And I was actually able to get to a root cause of that with a client, with her love language being gifts. And there was some guilt and shame around gifts because subconsciously she felt bad that she wasn't able to give as much as her other friends who were farther along on their financial journey than she was. So she was giving gifts, even if they were small, as a means of pleasing or appeasing her friends to say, hey, I'm here too. I still care about you guys. But it was about her motive. It wasn't because she wanted to give the gift out of just because she loved them, but because there was a motive of, I feel like I have to. So this person is no longer a threat to my subconscious, as it were. This person isn't going to put me into that survival mechanism or that survival mode that happens so often with this. So, how can you work through the guilt and shame of gifts around it being what's expected or love language and pleasing and appeasing? So, the first thing is setting clear and concise boundaries. A boundary is something that you get to decide for yourself how you want to be treated, how you want to be talked to, what your actions are going to be, what you'll allow to have people's actions or words be towards you. And when you set those boundaries, and you can set those boundaries in your budget, in your finances, in your communications with your friends, your family, communicate those boundaries. And that leads me into the second piece of working through the guilt or shame is communicate what your expectations are. As hard as it might be, if you're invited to the party, you can say, hey, what's expected? Do I need to bring a gift? And if they say, oh, yeah, we're going to do white elephant, blah, 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 you can let them know, hey, so I'm on this journey of working my way out of debt. I'm not going to be able to have a new gift. Can I make something instead? Or can I white elephant this? And just be upfront about where you're at. So that way you don't have to go further in debt and break those boundaries that you have with your budget to try to make this gift happen. And the last thing, which ties it all up, guys, keep your goals in mind. We want to have a joyous, fun, amazing Christmas holiday season. And if there's guilt and shame around gifts, keep in mind what your financial goals are. Are you working your butt off to get out of debt? Are you working your butt off to get that 3 to 6 month emergency fund in place so later you can live and give like no one else? Remember, the Christmas season, although if your mind is focused on Jesus, like every day is Christmas, guys, but the Christmas season, that party, that holiday week is only going to happen once a year. And do you guys even remember what you got for Christmas last year? Do you remember when you got what you got for Christmas when you were 4? Talking to you parents who feel like they have to bust their budget to give their kids an expensive Christmas. Yeah, calling you to the floor, guys. Remember what your goals are. Whatever you say yes to, you are saying no to something else. And whatever you say no to, you are saying yes to something else. So keep this in mind as you think about your emotions about purchasing gifts. Is there guilt? Is there shame? Know the difference, recognize where it's coming from, and be sure to set clear boundaries, communicate your expectations on what you are able to do, and keep your financial goals in mind. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe this video, support this small business, and help your friends have that financial freedom. Thank you so much. I will see you soon. Have a blessed day.